In music, pop, rock, metal, whatever, every band or artist has a signature to their sound. Now, this signature can range from a certain guitar sound like Brian May of Queen, or a drum tone like John Bonham and the thunderous Led Zeppelin drum sound. But when it comes to what is really identifiable with a band or an artist, it's usually the voice.
He's tearing you apart.
Pleased to meet you. Hope you guess my name.
So for this video, I'm going to be looking at those vocalists, not just those that define their own band, but those that are also instantly recognizable as iconic within the genre of metal. The reason I've limited this list only to metal is because rock and metal, like together, cast such a wide net. Not only was it impossible to narrow this list down to 5 or 7 or 10 even, but it wasn't even fun. Like it became painful for me to do. But even though I'm only doing metal, it didn't make it easy by any stretch. So don't you worry, there'll be plenty of fodder for you, for all of you out there, the masses, to sink your grimy little teeth in and tell me how wrong I am. Which brings me to how you can do that. Obviously, there's the comment section down below. Just simply type your little comments down there and I will be glad to answer because I love doing that so much. So please utilize that at your pleasure. Just try to be as nice as possible because as you well know by now, if you've seen me on this channel, I have as forked a tongue as anyone and I'd prefer not to be very snake-like.
Perhaps you'd like to see how snake-like I can be.
I mean, at the end of the day, we're talking about music, right? So let's keep it civil, let's have some fun, and let's throw out our ideas and have an open conversation. But if the comment section here doesn't float your boat, you can always hit me up at the social media type places. My Facebook page, Redbeard Videos, there's a group there. You can also go to Instagram, Redbeard Videos there, and also on TikTok. I drop little videos there on occasion too. So by all means, go there. Without question, one of the most recognizable and dynamic voices in the history of metal music. Jonathan Davis fully defined the sound associated with nu metal and influenced other huge bands like Disturbed and System of a Down.
Now I see me far from grace.
One could certainly argue that the success of this band is largely attributed to Jonathan Davis's unique style of scatting and gibberish and screams. Sure, that kind of vocalization could only take you so far, and sustaining a now 30-year career on gibberish would be near impossible. So in no way am I saying that the music also didn't play a part, but it was Davis who was grabbing the attention at the very start with his singing, his screams, and his scat/gibberish style that he had. Now, decades later, you will find fans and detractors alike doing Jonathan Davis's trademark vocalization. That, to me, is the mark of an icon.
If you like to gamble, I tell you I'm your man. You win some, lose some, it's all the same to me.
The look, the bass sound, the music, but probably the most iconic thing about Lemmy is that voice. Was Lemmy the best singer in metal? No. I would even say it's barely singing. It's more like barking or some sort of grunting. But boy, does it fit the sound of Motorhead. And, man, is it very iconic.
Double up or quit, double strike or split, the ace of spades, the ace of spades.
As a singer myself, you'd think I hate this type of vocalization, but again, for this band with Lemmy's attitude, there's no one in the game better at it than the late Mr. Kilmister.
Who'd win in a wrestling match, Lemmy or God?
Lemmy. God.
Wrong, dickhead. Trick question. Lemmy is God.
Seriously, how could I have a list like this without the immortal Rob Halford? His high screams and banshee-like vocals have shaped the styles of metal vocalists for nearly 5 decades now. One could hardly listen to any one era of metal since Priest's first album in 1974 without hearing a clear and present influence by the great Rob Halford.
You'll take my life, but I'll take yours too. You fire musket, but I'll run you through.
Same goes here as with Halford. Now, to give credit where it's due, Halford predates Bruce by nearly a decade. But I'd venture to say that Dickinson's voice is slightly more iconic than Halford's. Maybe? Look, we can have the discussion who's a better singer, who influenced more singers. Hell, there's even a contingent of Maiden fans that say they prefer Paul Di'Anno over Bruce Dickinson. Well, I just don't get that personally, but that's neither here nor there for this discussion. What is germane to this conversation is the fact that whenever you hear some asshat making fun of metal, this definitely happened a lot when I was a kid in the 90s. I don't know about today, but they would do that metal scream, and to me, that's clearly a reference to Bruce Dickinson. It could be Halford, but Halford's more of a yeah, like more of a screech and a squeal, right? But like Dickinson's like the raw, like, you know, but either way, that's why these two share the number 3 spot, because I think they equally share the same level of iconography when it comes to metal vocalists. Don't you agree? You knew he was going to make this list, right? Was there any question about that? I think the real question was where and not if. The real conundrum is, how is he not number 1? Well, here's the thing. Just because he's probably one of my very favorite singers of all time, and definitely deserves to be on this list, he's not the most iconic voice in metal history according to what I've experienced in my life. Sure, he has probably the most iconic hand gesture, the devil horns, or from its Italian form, the Maloika, or the evil eye. Now, don't be mistaken, Ronnie James Dio may not have the most iconic voice of all time. He's solidly the second or third. There's hardly a metal fan alive that doesn't immediately think of Holy Diver when discussing the history of the metal genre.
Holy diver, you've been down too long in the midnight sea. Oh, what's becoming of me?
So when you have a song that largely represents an entire genre in the eyes of the world, that's literally what an icon is. And that brings us to our number 1. But before we get to our number 1, don't forget to leave some comments down in the section there, down in the comment section. Like and subscribe to this channel and ring the bell so you know whenever we post something. And of course, before we get to number 1, we have to talk about all those losers that did not crack the top 5, otherwise known as our honorable mention.
You too will know my pain and smile its black-toothed grin. It's the war inside my head.
Can't you see I'm easily bothered by persistence? One step from lashing out at you. Unemployed. Ow! In the cradle, we'll run. With my woman, 'cause she couldn't help me.
So this could have been a top 7 actually, because there, as you can see, the 1B. So there's a reason why I split the baby on this one, and it's almost too easy that I feel an explanation isn't needed. But after going online and looking at many discussion boards, maybe one is absolutely needed. See, before revealing the 1A, I feel like a dual number 1 was necessary because the vocalist in the 1A position, in my opinion, has been far more iconic for the better part of the last 30 years. However, I cannot leave the first credited metal singer in the genre's history off this list, especially one with mega iconic moments himself. Everyone knows any of the following sounds or phrases and knows what is about to come after it. What's even more interesting about Ozzy Osbourne is not only is his singing voice iconic, but his speaking voice is too, due to the humongous popularity of the reality show The Osbournes from the early 2000s. We heard him just slur out sentence after sentence for 4 seasons. Now come on, just admit it. Nobody's watching, but in your own brain, just admit it to yourself. We've all tried to imitate the garbled ramblings of the legendary Ozzy Osbourne.
Bubbles! Oh, come on, Sharon. I'm fucking Ozzy Osbourne, the Prince of fucking Darkness. Evil, what's fucking evil? I've had to borrow the fucking bubbles. When do the male models come on and start stroking?
For 50 years, we've heard this voice associated with the genre of metal, and for the first 20 years or so, yes, he was the most iconic voice of metal. But since sometime in the early 90s, I believe this voice is truly the most iconic voice in metal. Yeah! James Hetfield, for all the reasons, from being a badass vocalist in general, hands down, to the most popular and famous metal band in history, to being a hilarious meme and vine since the inception of those platforms. Yeah! Hetfield is without question the most iconic singer/vocalist in metal history, and I don't even think it's up for debate.
Imprisoning me, all that I see, absolute horror. I cannot live, I cannot die, trapped in myself, body my only thing.
I've seen many a discussion about it, and only a few agreed with me right out of the gate, my own son being one of them. And he disagrees with me with just about everything, so that just blew my doors off completely.
You will see, more is all you need, dedicated to, I want killing you.
But seriously, if Ozzy Osbourne wasn't the first metal vocalist, I don't even think he would share this top spot. Sure, Crazy Train and all of that, but yeah! And the countless influence you can see from Hetfield on all the metal bands since the early 90s.
Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire.
It's just completely immeasurable. I personally think way more people associate Hetfield with metal than Ozzy, especially over the last 3 decades or so. And I think that's why he deserves at least a share of the number 1 spot, if not sole possession of it. Look, if we were having this discussion in 1989, I'd have a difficult time placing Hetfield on this list at all, except for maybe Jonathan Davis, and that's only because, well, he wasn't around yet, so nobody knew who he was. But since the Black Album's released in 1991, it's gotta be Hetfield. It has to be. Yeah! So what did you think? Who's the most iconic voice in metal history in your eyes? Tell me below. I want to hear what you have to say. Also, please sub, follow, ring the bell, follow me on TikTok and Facebook and Instagram and all the social media type places. And of course, my handles on all those places is always and forever will be Red Beer Videos. And keep an eye out for our Twitch channel, as I will be doing live streams once a week, either here or on Twitch or both. So thank you so much for watching and being here with me, as I so much enjoy being here with you. And until next time, we'll see you then. Bye.